I remember a scripture. A man walks into, I think it was a Pharisee, walks into the synagogue and says, "Oh Lord," he walks up to the altar and says, "Lord, I want to thank you for making smart and intelligent, rich and prosperous. I want to thank you for all your graces." See? And then he puts his gift on the altar and walks away. And the other man walks in and says, "Lord, have mercy upon me, I'm a sinner." Which one walks away justified? The one who thinks he's something and the one who thinks he's nothing. What about the person who came up to Jesus and said, "Please have mercy on me"? And Jesus turns to him and says, "We don't give what is holy to the dogs." Right? And now you would think that man be insulted, wouldn't you? Jesus has called me a dog. I'm asking for him to heal me. And he said, "We don't give what's holy to the dogs." Jesus was testing him to see how prideful he was. And he says, "Yes, but when the children eat from the table, they drop crumbs, and the dogs eat from the crumbs. I'd like some of those crumbs, if you don't mind." He wasn't insulted. He said, "I've never seen faith like this." What do you mean, faith? How could this be faith? When the man knew he was a dog. It takes a lot of faith to know how stupid you are. See? He knew he was wrong. He knew he was lowly. And he suffered because of his loneliness, and therefore the suffering cries out. In one suffering like that, one cries out for salvation and can receive it. But not so a prideful man. He's fulfilled. He's filled up with his own self-conceit. Remember the story of Lazarus? And he was the rich man's son. And he wanted to know how to get into the kingdom of heaven, and he couldn't do it because he walked away because he couldn't give his money away. He was very rich. Because it isn't that people should give their money away. Jesus is not telling rich men to give their money away. He knew that he was supported. His idea of his self-worth was really because when you have a lot of money, people think highly of you. And you think highly of yourself. And you give money. And people think you're a good, generous person. And this contributes to a sense of self-worth. And you cannot, every person who lives, who has a self-worth dependent on how people think of them, not what God thinks of them, cannot enter the kingdom. It's not the money. It could be anything. You could be a mathematician and a good doctor, and everybody thinks you're wonderful, but you're not a good person. You can actually get a sense of worth through compensate for a lack of worth in your work.